Alright, another long response video coming up, no doubt about it. It's going to be a long one. Anti-BullshitMan stuff, basically. I went over his blog post because he did make reference to it in subsequent comments, and so there's all kinds of crap from Luddite Returns, Anti-BullshitMan, Broken Mech, I mean just piles and piles and piles of crap. Yeah, just amazing crap. So let's see where to start here. I don't even know where. I got this stuff threaded, but I don't know where his crap starts here also. And then there's comments, so I guess I'll read those down. I guess I wanted to get to the cat one first, because that's the one that's sort of relevant here. So, you know, he complains about nihilism, which is important, because he's basically a defender of nihilism. I guess he's a nihilist. Which, you know, it's okay. I personally just see no logic in that philosophy whatsoever. I don't see, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever not to concede that, yes, our consciousness is created by matter in an arrangement. And the fact that it creates this illusion, this model of the world that's inside of our consciousness, that includes this creation of sensation. Yes, it's created by blocks being in a certain order. DNA molecule having certain amino acids in a certain construction will create a disposition capable of creating this theater of consciousness. And the fact that the theater doesn't exist in any material place, it exists as a consequence of a material arrangement, doesn't negate its factuality, its actuality. We see it, we experience it. It would be just nonsensical not to concede its material correlates. When I said the words material correlates, there was material correlates inside of my brain, alright, that manufactured that combination of words. The statement material correlates has material correlates in my brain, and that produced it through this interaction of chemistry and electricity. But the fact is that I felt it in my brain. I feel what I think and feel. It happens inside of my consciousness, and it's just a fact. And the fact that those sensations, that experiencing, has this qualitative smell to it, this senseness of it, this qualia crap, and that qualia comes with a quality component of high quality versus low quality sensation, positive, quote unquote, negative and less negative correlates. Yeah, to nihilists deny that reality. They say it is nothing more than me saying I like the color blue. And that's a definition of value now. I've established it, that blue means something to me, and that's somehow supposed to mean something. And if everybody agrees that blue really kicks ass, then somehow blue really does kick ass. And it's arbitrary, erroneous, illogical, unfounded in any kind of rational or logical correlate. The only correlate it has is psychological crap. And so that can be identified and recognized. There's no point in talking about ethics or morality or value in the context of a conversation about erroneous psychological gibberish, noise, nonsense. It has to have a logical, rational, reasonable correlate, or it's crap. And what I'm saying is it's perfectly reasonable to understand our consciousness as a material phenomenon that takes place in an immaterial plane, a theater created in our imagination, so to speak, that has a substance, a gravity weight. Again, my brain put those two words together. Gravity weight. So it has a weight, a weight of significance and importance. That is one of its properties. The property of sensation is value. It produces value by existing as a phenomenon. When the machine is on, there's something happening here, and it's significant. And that's a perfectly reasonable statement. It's unchallengeable, in my opinion, logically or sensibly, and it's a solid foundation for an understanding of value. That's my premise. All right, so his real argument is that somehow nihilists, because they see life as futile, are somehow relevant to the subject of antinatalism. That somehow they come up with an ought. People ought not, based on the fact that there's no function, no purpose. Not based on the fact that there's a downside negative risk of established certainty, but just some ambiguous, I personally don't like blue, so I'd rather not you make any more blue things. And if we all agree that blue sucks, then we can all say, let's get rid of blue. And it should be some kind of subjective, erroneous brain fart that decides what color we eradicate. So it doesn't have any foundation. There's no kernel of value being respected. It's just some agreement to hate on life. Okay? So, and they call that antinatalism. If all you're doing is hating on life because of some subjective prejudice, some subjective, I don't like fat pregnant women, babies are smelly, babies are expensive. If these are your reasons to be an antinatalist, then yeah, I'm saying they're bullshit reasons. I don't think anywhere near close to being good for the cause. If I was a religion and there was people who were in my church merely because it was social networking, yeah, I would find that sort of offensive, disgusting. That, you know, here I am doing this thing because I believe in this purpose of this God's creation, and all you're doing is playing us because it's good business opportunities? Fuck you. Anyway, thanks for the laugh, genuine, laughed out loud, rare. I'm curious why you haven't humanely put down Santino yet. Okay, so, I've made this point before. The actual fact is, honest truth, polygraph test, the whole thing, I would have put Santino down. He'd be dead right now. But it's like other people know Santino, and they make me feel obligated, okay, to keep him around because they love the cat. And they don't want the cat to not be here. And they would not like me. I can read you PMs I've gotten from people who are sending me now hate PMs because I actually pointed out that I have put animals down before. That I have in my best effort to humanely kill them. I've participated in animals being shot or put down because they were substantially broken. And people have ridiculed me for this. Like, how dare I not try to save them? How dare I not give them chemotherapy? Or how dare I compromise their will to live? You know, this kind of argument. So obviously, that's my psychological problem. So in this argument, this is the whole problem. I've said this before to you jackasses, but you know, you don't hear the shit that's important, like the trolls that you sort of related to. You know, we're playing two roles here. We're a subjective ape, okay, that's doing this objective intellect. We have these two mechanisms that are functioning, and our brain is right in between the periphery of these two forces. On one side is the ape pulling at our brain, wanting our brain as a scheming tool, and on the other side is pure intellectual reasoning that's trying to gain hold of our consciousness. And, you know, the ape is pulling and saying, no, the feeling thing wants control of this scheming weapon. And the intellect is saying, no, it must be pure, it must be logical, it must be cleansed of your personal desire and your personal ambition. I will not have my brain used as a hammer. That kind of indignity that the intellect has for this obnoxious emotional animal that is the vessel the brain is surviving in, is a parasite on. So yes, I am going to be subject to psychological problems, psychological barriers to doing the right thing. Sometimes the right thing, you just can't do it psychologically. You could know that it's the right thing to do to stick a fork in Hitler's mother's eye. I've even talked about that kind of scenario. But I'm not quite sure if I could really do it if I was there. It might still be psychologically hard, even though I knew it was the right thing to do. It might be psychologically difficult to stick a fork in a woman's eye. And but I can honestly say that Santino, I know it's the right thing to do. I mean, I've put down cats that were perfectly healthy, And I've done it because they lived, 13 or 14 years. They had a very good life. And I saw no purpose, because they were homeless and they were going to have to transition. It might be very difficult. I saw no purpose in subjecting them to the trauma of transition in their life, change, because their owner died, to preserve the opportunity for a couple more years of same old, and the prospect that they might get ill or sick and then be put down after it's too late, after they've already suffered. That there'll be nothing to be gained by doing that. And I think that's a perfectly logical, rational thing to do. But even admitting it, I'm subjected to even my own scorn that somehow I'm being evil, even though I'm quite confident it's the right thing to do. Alright, so he takes this argument up further in his blog, and he was bringing up different subjects about this difference between imposition, these two conflicts that he claims exist, between this idea of thou shalt not impose and thou shalt be utilitarianly pure and always do the right thing by the value equation. And there is no conflict. What is being objected to in the imposition argument isn't imposition itself. It's imposition of an unreasonable action. That's the imposition. It's the imposition of unreasonableness, not hardship, not a violation of your welfare. It's the unreasonable violation of your welfare that matters. I think Albert Einstein, even if he was antinatalist, even if he did say on his deathbed, as he used as an example, "I'd rather not have been," Albert Einstein would say, but if you know that my existence would be more gain than pain, if you know for a certainty that I would prevent more people from suffering than the suffering I endured, then yes, impose life on me. Impose productivity on my existence. I think Jack Kevorkian would say those exact words. He would say, yes, I'd rather not have been, but if my existence was for the benefit of sentient life on Earth, impose on me. I've said it, and I honestly mean it, even though it scares me to say it. But yes, crucify me, tear my guts out while I'm alive, torture me in any way you want, if you can make that spare millions of people harm. If I could get the Jesus deal, I can save billions and trillions of souls by merely hanging on a cross for a few days. Yes, sign me up. Sign me up to be the greatest hero in existence ever. I wouldn't call that sacrifice. I would call that a fucking pleasure. I would call that the greatest gift almost you could give a human, is to be that fucking productive. Quite obviously, no, Jesus didn't die for anything, because there was no God, and there was no bargain, and there was no saving, and there was no nothing. He didn't undo anything, he didn't fix anything, so yeah, it was a waste of time hanging on the cross. But if you could get the real deal, and actually prevent people from going to hell forever, and being tortured forever in hell, yeah, I think a week on the cross would be a damn good deal. So yeah, sign me up. Sign me up to be productive. If I'm going to be useful as a suffering, twisted, tormented, in horror and suffering individual, if you can make that work to prevent greater harm, do it to me then, fucker. It's your obligation to impose it on me, because it's rational, it's logical, it's demanded by the circumstance. So yeah, impose the truth on me. Impose facts on me. Impose reality on me. Don't impose your bullshit on me, man. Yeah. Fuck you. Alright, giving everything you said, Santino's... Oh, fuck, I gotta get my stuff out of the oven. It's overcooking. God damn you fuckers and your video forcing me to make videos, imposing your bullshit on me so I have to waste time making goddamn fucking videos and end up burning my perfectly good cookies. You fuckers. God damn. A few time I get a little snack and you made me burn them. They are burned beyond all fuck in recognition. They're totally fucked. God damn it. Fuckers. I hate you. I hate you fuckers. You're fucking bullshit. Fuckers. You made me burn my cookies. They're burned. I mean, they really are burned. I mean, that's fucking burned. It's a burned... Oh, fuck, that's a hot fucking burned cookie. Well, charcoal is supposed to be good for you, but... I think they're made out of plastic, so I don't know if it's really charcoal. So I think it's burnt polymer, which probably isn't very healthy. Man, they're way overcooked, though. Went way over goddamn time. Shit, I knew I should have put the time... I always say, put the timer on, Gary. And no, logic fails. See, but that's the problem. We know what's logically right. We know these disciplined things we should do, but we are an ape. We have this dumb, fucking selfish psychology that does get in the fucking way. And I've never said anything otherwise. I've never been inconsistent. And I think you're just a little weasel sack of shit to imply inconsistency or duplicity. So fuck you for that too. Bullshit, man. Alright, Santino stands to do nothing other than tilt the collectivist stance scale closer to the minus than the plus. That's right. Again, so you think you have an argument for me. Oh, I'm going to get to you by saying I want you have an obligation to kill your only child or something. Again, you're not going to fuck me with this kind of bullshit. Okay? I'm going to concede the argument. I'm going to concede it is the right thing to do. And the only thing I'll do, in my own defense, is say I'm wrong not to do it. If I don't do it, I'm wrong. And I'm wrong because I'm a psychology. A psychology that can't always do the right thing. Alright? But I'm not going to glorify it. I'm not going to say my psychology is right. I'm going to say it's wrong. And it's one of the reasons why humans fail. Is because they can't be Vulcan enough. They can't grow the fuck up and stop being little weaselly psychologies. Okay, still no reason to put him down though. Well, see, there you go. So that's where we fundamentally disagree. There's extensive good reason. It's all good reason. There's absolutely no reason to perpetuate his risk. So you're wrong entirely. You obviously don't understand the principle, and that's why your antinatalism is wishy-washy and mishy-mushy. You apparently just don't like humans. And again, in your whole long blog post, there was no mention of sentient life. Any other sentient life on Earth seems quite irrelevant to your conversation. There's a critical difference between killing the present and railing against procreation. Again, it's not about killing the present anyway. I haven't made arguments that human beings should be killed, so this is another straw man, a malicious, weaselly straw man. These arguments haven't been made. I haven't made any arguments that people should kill themselves. What video? Point to a video where I suggested people should kill themselves, or that they have an obligation to kill their children, or anything like that. I've made no such fucking arguments. This is just weaselly bullshit. And to call it railing against procreation, implying that there's something wrong with this railing. You know, so you're supposed to be some kind of antinatalist, and you call it railing against procreation? That doesn't sound like an antinatalist to me. Is it railing against theism? Is that what you are, anti-bullshit man? A railer against theism? You fucking, what are you? Shall I mock your dislike for fucking idiots and morons telling you how you should live? Fucking asshole. AN often gets smeared precisely because some ANs are, well, no, there are none. This is a straw man argument. In fact, unable to differentiate between the two. We'll name those. The argument that has been made in the form of a thought experiment. If you had a guaranteed win, alright, here we are playing a game with long odds against success, and you're given a red button that guarantees victory. And yes, it carries with it this sort of obnoxious imposition of your judgment on all things. You're still, there's a question, that's why it's a thought experiment. It provokes thinking. And the thinking is, well, you sort of have to go for it. Even though it feels obnoxious, your intuition says it's obnoxious. The truth is, you have to go for it. It's just too good an opportunity to clean up too big and too dangerous a mess. So tranquil, such a douchebag. Do you have any hopes of changing his mind on this? This whole idea that somebody's mind is obligated to change is, again, crap. Why would I open my fucking mouth and articulate an opinion if I thought I was wrong? If I thought there was some realistic possibility that some turd like you, Tranquil, could convince me that I was saying something fucktarded and idiotic, why would I be opening my mouth if I thought some stupid, reckless, lazy slob was going to construct some kind of argument that would go, holy shit, look at that brilliant argument? No, that's not going to happen. I'm a thoughtful, intelligent person. You're a sloppy, reckless idiot. Alright? You don't have any hope of changing my mind because you haven't constructed anything solid in your own goddamn brain of mush. You're not going to show up with this mush you call a philosophy, this inarticulate jibber-jabber of 49 dead philosophers, and sit there and challenge me on logic. It's not going to fucking happen because I've built every bit of my philosophy from the ground up. Every single stick I put down was solid. And so I've built something real out of real bricks of logic and fact. And you've built it out of a bunch of fucking cliches. Okay, he said he had the same understanding of value since he was 6 years old. Well, I've been the same consciousness, that's right, since the day of my arrival on planet Earth. I've had the same sense organs, the same, penis. The same stuff has been going on. Yes, it developed and it grew a little, but basically the dynamic was the same. Food goes in, thoughts fly around, sounds, it's the same mechanism. So why shouldn't my understanding of something like pain be fundamentally the same when I was 7 years old as it is now that I'm not 7 years old? Asshole. Which is pretty telling. Yeah, what it tells is that I'm absolutely solid in terms of being something called consistent and reliable, where fucktards like you every 6 months are blowing in a new wind and then celebrating that wind and saying, this is the wind, I've got the right wind this time. Fuck you. Okay? You're just random floaters, okay, puffing around in arbitrary directions. So, fuck you, you're the failure. You're the telling failure. That's the way not to do things efficiently. So, I've got you so beat by that standard. You know him better than me, though. He has never changed his mind on anything since he started on YouTube. Question mark. Why would I change my fucking mind? Why would I open my mouth if I was wrong? I open my mouth because I'm absolutely sure I'm fucking right. And if I'm not sure, then I put draft in the title or something. And I'll speculate about physics or some other subject. But the other shit, I'm not saying it unless I know it's true. Unless I know it's a solid argument. Unless I know you have nothing but vapor, trade winds to blow at me. The winds of pop culture jibber-jabber. I haven't seen anything close to progress on or a significant change in his views on any topic. Well, again, how can if you build it right, why should it change? Again, why? Who's going to change it? Where's the authority? Where's the icon? Where's the Darth Vader with the powerful, more powerful, Jedi warrior tool or whatever? Where's the thing that you think is so much more credible than me? Right, that's right, one of your dead philosophers. People I can't cross-examine. People who have written complete idiotic mush as part of their tripe. Schopenhauer, for example, on women. From my perspective, any effort at a reasonable opposition is a waste of time because his views are firmly seated and dogmatically held to stay. So again, it's dogma. To believe in evolution is dogma. To believe in the mechanical universe is dogma. To believe there's no evidence of anything outside the realm of cause and effect is dogma. It's some sort of dictate, that God wrote on stones or something. It's not something rationally held, reasonably held, based on logic. No, somehow it's contrary to the evidence and just a dogmatic dictate from whatever. I read it in some bones I rolled on the ground. So you're just a lying twat, on top of being a fucking inconsistent, erratic, lunatic, shit for brains waste of space. You're just a lying turd, too, because there's not one fucking sentence of my fucking argument you could demonstrate to be dogma, you fucking piece of shit. Disgusting turds. So let's see what old BullshitMan had to say. Yeah, it's kind of strange that he wouldn't go on to rationalize why he doesn't kill his own cats after declaring that it's obvious the moral thing to do according to his flawless logic. Well, again, I have killed perfectly healthy cats. I have paid $75 to have perfectly healthy cats put to sleep in the past. And I've done it because I knew it was the right fucking thing to do. It was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do, and I did the right thing. So, fuck you. Surely he understands we have attachments and preaching this simplistic. So here we go again. Simplistic. No, preaching this honest. Okay? It's not just simplistic, it's honest. Right? And the fact that the truth is completely disagreeable to our selfish ego, totally disagreeable to our goddamn vanity. And that's what it is. It's just totally disagreeable to our vanity. The fact that we are just feeling bags of shit, okay, basically controlled by a DNA molecule, is very unflattering. So yeah, we want to reject that truth. But it's a fucking truth. 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 Okay, if you're going to say it's simplistic, then you explain how you need to complicate it, shithead. You tell me what added ingredients to consumption, reproduction, cannibalism, and addiction you're going to fucking add, retard. Let me hear it, shithead. Fucking asshole. Preaching this simplistic. Preaching. See, that's what he calls it, preaching. Well, what the fuck are you doing, you turd? Oh, this is Tranquil still. Never mind. I expect Tranquil to be an asshole. No sentience, no harm. I mean, he's responding to his own comment, apparently. I don't know. No sentience, no harm, and harm only thing of value. Okay, arrow. Imperative to remove, prevent harm. Yeah, duh. Okay, it's the abiosim. It's the. Sorry, I haven't only gotten 2 hours of sleep. It's the asymmetry just taken to its logical conclusion. Yes, it's a need mechanism. Don't create the need, then you don't have to resolve the need. Don't create the negative number, you don't have to create positive numbers to compensate for it. It's very simple. Ethics don't account for them and their consequences. Well, whatever. Says you fucking turd. Alright. Let's do some of this. This one has some Luddite in it, so we might as well do some of this. I think I've taken care of his blog. His blog was really this very long. I'll post a link to it. Very long, kind of just inane-y, kind of drambling on about these distinctions between different kinds of nihilists. And, you know, this idea that somehow he wants to be a half nihilist, half relativist, half subjectivist, you know, I mean, it's just this blending of everything into some kind of mush, and you don't take any account for the reality of it. And again, there's no point in having an unprincipled philosophy, and you can't sit there and say, I'm a nihilist, and now I'm going to complain about something. That's just idiotic. I mean, to complain based on your subjectivity, to say that apple pie is great, or to argue that the Boston Red Sox need to win the World Series, it would just be a childish waste of the human race's time to listen to anything you have to say. If you're just going to say it's only a subjective thing that's important to me personally, only I could derive it through my own personal subjective nonsense, it doesn't have anything to do with rationality or reason or fact. Well, if you're not going to base your argument on fact, why should I waste my time listening to it? Why would I listen to a non-fact-based argument about anything? It's a waste of fucking time. Shut the fuck up. I mean, really, just babble to the wind because you have nothing relevant to say. If you're not making a fact-based argument, you're not making an argument worth anyone listening to. Alright, do you really have to explain all this in a vid? Question mark. You're the one who posted the fucking comments, cunt. Alright? You come to my video, you post snarky shit comments, and then you complain that I respond to them? And why shouldn't I do it in a video? I mean, why shouldn't I just explain exactly why I find what you did obnoxious, and why I find your sentences stupid, and why I find your whole construction of these ideas fucktarded and moronic and simplistic and straw man based. So yeah, I'm glad I did it in a video. Now you want to go write another 10 zillion word blog post? Well, go the fuck ahead. But I make videos on YouTube. I don't know, maybe you didn't notice that, but there's a whole big fucking pile of them. That's what I do, shithead. I make videos. Fuck. I thought you read my blog a couple of months ago. Well, guess what? It's dated November something. But yeah, why would you think I read it? It's not that fascinating. I mean, maybe I read half of it. I don't know. I don't remember the Einstein thing because that's just so easy to argue with. I mean, that thought experiment was complete shit. You have a crystal ball that demonstrates to you the future. You can see the future. You know, if you have a kid, he's going to be... He's going to create a circumstance that will mean that something else won't have suffering imposed on it. There'll be a net benefit. And you're going to say there's something different about me imposing on my kid or letting other people be imposed on? That somehow I can't logically understand, that it makes no difference. If my kid can stop other people from being imposed upon, that's just the same as my kid not being imposed upon. Why should it matter whether it's my kid or not? That's totally irrelevant. It would be, again, that would be just letting my psychology own me. And it would have nothing to do with imposing, because it would be just as much of an imposition. If I know for a certainty people are going to suffer unless I do something, well, then I have an obligation to do it. If the fucking economics say that it's going to work out for the best, it would be imposing the suffering if I don't stop the bullet, right? If there's a bullet heading for somebody's head and I can just stick up something of my own to stop the bullet, don't I have an obligation to prevent the harm if their harm is going to be greater than my harm? Fuck. I mean, I'm a guy who makes arguments about how people who jump on grenades are good people. It's the right thing to do. Jumping on a grenade sometimes is the right fucking thing to do. Fucking asshole. Alright, anyway. Detailed the ins and outs of the many flawed presumptions built into any notion of net math as the sole benchmark of ethics. So whatever. So again, he's dissing the idea that value is commoditizable. That value is quantitizable, that there's a quanta of value, and I would argue that it's in this, you know, that we can't know all the ins and outs of the math, but we can certainly know the extremes. We know that a cupcake isn't worth chemotherapy. We know a lot of these extremes on the ends. Okay, and the stuff that gets blurry in the middle is, is 5 kicks in the nuts worth one bowling pin in the vagina. Okay, I mean, if those two things are on the thing, okay? 5 guys get kicked in the nuts, 1 woman gets a bowling pin shoved up her hoozy. Yeah, that's going to be hard math, right? I mean, it's a little complicated trying to figure out, but, they get kicked in the nuts, it'll wear off pretty quick, but the bowling pin, well, that might do permanent damage, might leave a scar, might leave real marks, kind of thing. But, women do fart out those babies, and they're bigger than bowling pins, so, maybe it's doable. I'm just saying, that gets to be really complex math. I'm not obligating people to figure out all that nuanced shit, to do all that borderline crap. I'm saying we know in principle what the commodities are here, and when you have some kind of exchange that's blurry and unresolvable, let it go. But most of the arguments we're making here aren't blurry and unresolvable. They're quite obvious. You have selfish asshole who's giving the idea of procreating as much thought as he gives the idea of ordering out pizza. Okay, that's how much thought he's given the subject. Now we know that falls into the complete fucktarded asshole category. There's no doubt about it. It goes into the asshole category. That is not a proper decision. It's not proper analyzing of the math or the values. It's fucktarded nonsense. It can be put in the fucktarded nonsense category. There's just no fucking doubt about it. So fuck you in this bullshit. I can't go over them in the YouTube comments because it'll take 100 plus comments to do so. Plus, I'm getting the crazy idea that you don't want me commenting at all. Well, I didn't know you were a nihilist, to tell you the truth. So, yeah, I have absolutely no use for nihilists. Okay, if you can't figure out that suffering matters, then you're too stupid for any time. But you kind of run away from it. You say, I don't call me a value relativist. Don't call me a subjectivist unless you mean subjective in this way. And I plan on getting all philosophers to redefine subjectivity and all this. I can't play this game of trying to figure out what the fuck you believe in. But it does sound like you're defending nihilism as some sort of legitimate, rational way to discover the truth. And what I'm saying is nihilism is a rejection of the truth. Nihilism is no better than Godism. Okay? You're just deflecting our responsibility to deal with the reality and take full responsibility for every fucking thing that happens, because it is all on us. We're the smartest goddamn asshole in the car. We can't just let nature drive it anymore. We're responsible for all of it, everything that happens, and we've got to make every effort to account for every dime being squandered here, because every dime has a migraine headache tied to it. And it's just bullshit not to accept responsibility for that truth. And in my opinion, nihilism is just evasion. A disgusting evasion. Plus, I'm getting okay. Blah, blah. Yeah, so yeah, I don't really care if you comment one way or the other. Right? Like I said, I have no use for a nihilist. If you're a nihilist at heart, you don't think there really is any harm. You don't think it matters how many animals suffer, or how much blood flies out of things' mouths and ears and whatnot, and all that kind of crap. Then yeah, fuck off. I got no use for you. If you don't think it's quantizable, that I can know for sure, okay, that it's not worth, sticking a needle in a rabbit's eye and injecting it with some sort of fucking makeup cream or something, so people can look glamorous. If you think that's not even a question worth asking, then yeah, move along. So I won't after today. Okay, well fine. I don't really. You don't make videos anymore. You have nothing relevant to say. You apparently are a bit of an elitist and an obnoxious one to boot. So I guess in a lot of ways we just don't have anything to say to each other anymore, right? I mean, there's no reason to have like the pretense of like friendship or respect, because you show me none. You use rhetoric that basically insults me. And so why should I care to preserve any sort of notion or pretense of mutual respect or anything else? So yeah, just kind of fuck off. It's fine with me. You wasted so much time spouting stale bullshit, man. Redecorations of my screen name, yawn. Yeah, well, whatever. I didn't spend that much time doing it. But I mean, there is an irony to being called anti-bullshit man when you are straw man making bullshit man, when you are full of bullshit, when you're making accusations and arguments that I can take apart and dissect on the fly in video cold. It's thrown at me cold, and I can cook the shit you're throwing so easy and just shove it right up your ass. I mean, it just, you're throwing holy fucking wiffle balls and calling yourself a professional pitcher. Talking like you're owning the argument when you're not doing anything but wasting my fucking time, cunt, with lame, weak, idiotic arguments. Like somehow there's some notion of purity about this idea of imposing. Like somehow somebody's worried about imposing, forcing somebody to be productive. Like that's an imposition. He forced you to be vitally productive. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That's not what offends us. What offends us is people forcing us to pointlessly and needlessly suffer. If we were suffering for a good cause, for a good purpose, none of us would be complaining about the imposition. That's the whole point of the nihilist part, right? It isn't just that life is pointless, it's that life is expensive. And we wouldn't mind paying the price if we were actually buying something of value. But you don't get that because you're an asshole. Alright, telephone. That gives me a good excuse to take a break because my ear is clogged anyway.